Hey, good morning, and welcome back to Build What Lasts. Today, we want to talk about increased labor challenges that we are having in the construction industry. And it's not just in the construction industry, we are seeing labor shortages in every industry throughout the United States. Everywhere I drive, I see help wanted signs. It's everywhere, but specifically in the construction industry, it has been a problem ever since I've been involved in the construction industry. I always hear that that's one of people's biggest challenges is attracting and retaining good labor in the field. And so I think it's especially been challenging with COVID and this time that we are in currently. So I was reading this article from Construction Dive this morning, The War for Talent, How Contractors Battle for Workers by Robin Griggs Lawrence. And they were talking about those labor challenges and how you can be competitive. And one of the first things that they said is, number one, obviously, is to increase labor rates. And I think we are seeing that across the board. We're seeing that in all industries, but we're also seeing that in the construction market. Before you do that, though, I want to make sure that you know what that means for your business and how that's going to impact you. So, can you actually increase labor rates and still survive and maintain profits? So, let's say that you are hiring for a job that is already in progress. Like you're already working on a project, you have your bid and your budget for labor, and now you're needing to find labor to complete that project and you're needing to increase. So, first, do you really know where that job is at? Do you know if that job is profitable? Do you know if you have any extra wiggle room? Do you know if change orders are coming up on that project? So, we can stay ahead of it with the increased labor rates. The same for if you have already bid a project, maybe you haven't started yet, but now you're needing to hire labor at a higher rate than what you bid the project for. So how are you going to fit those new rates into that work? What kind of wiggle room do you have? Can there be any other cuts, or maybe a different team in, make sure that the efficiency is there, that we are maybe working a little quicker? Are you able to go back to the owner or the GC and ask for change orders for increased labor? Now, I know I might have got a chuckle and an eye roll out of some of you with that question, but it's a fair question. It's a fair question worth asking and seeing if that's a possibility. If the answer is no, then making sure that you are calculating that new labor rate and burden on any future change orders and trying to maximize those profits on the change order work to recoup some of your cost. So we want to just keep a very close eye on all of these existing projects with new labor rates and new projects that are starting where the bids included old labor rates, making sure that we're keeping a really close eye on those and understanding where we're at every step of those projects. I also want to make sure that you're including all the burden in there when you're calculating these rates and making sure that it makes sense for your company. So burden's going to include any benefits that you're offering to the employees, any payroll taxes that you are paying. It's basically going to be anything that's calculated on the wage instead of the hour. So the hourly benefit is going to stay the same. Anything that's calculated on the wage or the pay rate is going to be increased, and you want to make sure that you're calculating that in your labor rate and making sure that you're doing those calculations throughout regular time, overtime, double time, different shift tiers, and you're pulling it all the way through. So I definitely think that increased wages is what's happening currently, and that's how you're going to attract and retain those employees. There's a lot more to it than just that, but when you are starting to do that process, I just want to make sure that you have a clear understanding about where you're going to end up on your jobs and as a company and a whole, and see, if you need additional financing, if you need to cut costs somewhere else to make up for it, that you're prepared and ready to do that. So if you have any questions about this, if you need help going through this process, please reach out to us. We will be glad to help you. info@newlifekc.com, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks.